Namaskaram. We are continuing with Nala's story in Mahabharatam. We left where the emissary, the messenger by name Sudeva was sent by Damayanti just to Rtuparna, announcing the second marriage of Damayanti. It was supposed to take place the very next day. So it left Rtuparna just one day to reach Vidarbha, which was 1200 kilometers away. And Rtuparna wanted very much to attend the Swayamvara with the hope that Damayanti may put the garland on his neck. And he hoped that his chariot, the new charioteer Bahuka, could reach that in such a time. And he asked Bahuka. Bahuka, hearing the second marriage of Damayanti, was sad, but it was a chance for him to meet Damayanti, to see Damayanti. And anyway, he knew he could travel the distance, so he agreed. Bahuka selected four horses which looked lean but which were fast. He knew the signs of good horses. They have long hair on their neck. They have the curls on the right places on their head. And he chose such four good horses. And Rtuparna was surprised. Why have you chosen these lean horses? There are some very healthy looking horses. Why don't you take them? But Bahuka only smiled, said, you see them performing, then you decide. Anyway, Rtuparna left it to Bahuka. He knew best. And they started, as soon as they sat on the chariot and Bahuka took the reins in his hand, the horses jumped into the air, showing their impatience to rush forward. And Rtuparna was indeed impressed, watching the speed with which they virtually flew. Varshnaya was also taken along as a second charioteer. He also wondered if it was Nala himself who was driving the chariot, because the speed with which the new charioteer could drive the horses looked like, he had the skills of Nala. And after they started, after a while, in the strong wind that blew against them, Rtuparna lost his upper garment. And he asked Bahuka to stop. Stop. I have lost my upper garment. Stop, let me take it. Then Bahuka laughed and said, Sir, no, it would have traveled by now 8 kilometers, 12 kilometers, 8 miles. So we can't afford to waste that time. And Rtuparna was again impressed. And they continued journey. Then Rtuparna said, look, I know a science called Aksha Hridaya, which means the heart of dice, the dice which is used for gambling. And I shall demonstrate to you how it works. And he saw a tree with a lot of leaves and fruit at a distance. He said, from one look, I can tell you exactly how many leaves and fruits it has. Hmm. And before they reached the tree, he gave the number, and Rtuparna asked Bahuka to stop, and if he liked, he could count. Hmm. And uh, Bahuka just took a quick glance, and he realized that Rtuparna was very near the target. He didn't want to waste time, and they continued their journey. And Bahuka asked, "How could you manage to count so quickly?" Then Rtuparna said, "That is because Akshahridaya. What I do is that I count the number of leaves on a little branch, leaves and fruit, and I take that and multiply by the branch, by the number of such branches on a big branch, and then how many such big branches there are, and that is how I get it." So that is uh, it is the secret of gambling. In modern science, it is called statistics or probability. And people say the seeds of statistics and probability were sown even that time. It was the first time in the world that this science, the this science was seen in its origin, in its nutshell. And in turn, Bahuka taught, before that, and as soon as Rtuparna taught Bahuka this Akshahridaya, Kali, who was all along haunting and remaining inside Nala, had to come out. He came out vomiting the poison which Karkotaka had injected in by stinging Nala. So Kali came out vomiting that poison, and Nala, looking at Kali, he was angry. He swelled with anger, and he was about to curse Kali. Then Kali pleaded with Nala, "No, please don't curse me. Already Damayanti has cursed me. I am suffering that." And the bite of Karkotaka, I was suffering all these days with that poison in me. So I am already suffering. Please don't curse me. I shall bless you for good time to come. You will regain with the Akshahridaya which you have learned now. You will play dice again and win everything which you have lost. You will get your kingdom back. You will also get Damayanti back, and with my blessing, you will get your fame spread everywhere. So that was as soon as he learned Akshahridaya. And in turn, Bahuka taught Rtuparna the Ashwahridaya, the art of the science of learning the psychology of horses and how to drive them fast. Then they continued driving, and they reached Vidarbha before sunset that day itself. The sound of the chariot as it reached the palace with that roar of the wheels, it made such thunder-like sound that it filled the whole palace. Everybody looked to the gate. What's happening? Who is coming? It looks like a very unusual sound from a chariot. King Bhima was quite impressed. And Damayanti also heard the sound and she immediately recognized, oh, this is definitely Nala driving the chariot. No one else can produce this sound. When Nala drives his horses fast, only then it produces the sound. And Damayanti looked expectantly to the gates. Everybody else heard the sound. They were all looking at the gate. And the chariot entered the gate and stopped in front of the palace. And King Rtuparna came out with his royal dress. And then Varshnaya stepped out and also Bahuka. But there was no Nala. And Damayanti was surprised. Why? How am I? How is that I don't find Nala? Was it not Nala? Did he teach his techniques to King Rtuparna or to this Bahuka? But it is unlikely. Let me make it doubly sure. And Bhima went forward, received Rtuparna and welcomed him. Come, please come, I'm glad to see you. What brought you all this distance? Then Rtuparna was shocked. He was expecting, first of all, he was expecting lots of kings, hoping for that Swayamvara. He didn't find anybody. There was no sign of any special occasion. And now the king asking him, why have you come? As if there is nothing special. So he was puzzled. He didn't know what to say. He simply said, oh, I just to pay homages to you. And Bhima said, he just thought inside, all this distance just to pay homage to me. That is strange. But anyway, he didn't show anything and welcomed, took him inside the palace. Meanwhile, Damayanti wanted to do further tests to make sure this Bahuka is indeed Nala. So she sent her favorite maid Keshini to Nala to make, to first of all, to repeat the words which she had sent through Parnada to Rtuparna's palace and see the reaction from Bahuka. There is little more left. Our time is up, so we stop now. We shall continue next day. Namaskaram.